The drive back from the hospital was quiet. Not uncomfortable, just different. For the first time, neither Suha nor Jiwoon felt the need to fill the silence. Their hands had separated before leaving the hospital, but Suha could still feel Jiwoon's fingers around his. Every few minutes, he found himself touching the spot unconsciously. It was embarrassing and dangerous, especially because Jiwoon noticed everything. The next morning, Suha arrived at the office earlier than usual. He hoped the extra work would distract him. It didn't. Every email reminded him of Jiwoon. Every elevator made him remember the hospital hallway. Every cup of coffee reminded him of late nights together. "You're staring at the same spreadsheet." Suha nearly jumped. Jiwoon stood beside his desk, looking annoyingly calm. "How long have you been standing there?" "Long enough." A faint smile appeared. Suha immediately looked away. That smile was becoming a problem. A very serious problem. "Good morning," Jiwoon said. The words sounded ordinary, yet somehow they weren't. Not anymore. "Morning." Their eyes met briefly. Both remembered. The kiss, the hospital, everything. For a moment, neither spoke. Then an employee appeared carrying documents. The spell broke instantly. Work resumed. Meetings, schedules, phone calls. Normal, at least on the surface. Inside, everything had changed. By lunchtime, rumors were already spreading. Nothing concrete, just whispers. People noticing how often Director Park looked toward Secretary Lee. How quickly Secretary Lee understood Director Park's instructions. How naturally they moved around each other. Dangerous observations. Very dangerous. Suha hated office gossip, especially because this time, some of it was true. Later that afternoon, Jiwoon called him into his office. The moment the door closed, the atmosphere changed. Private, quiet, dangerous. "You seem nervous today." Suha laughed weakly. "I wonder why." Jiwoon leaned back in his chair, watching him carefully. "I don't regret it." Direct, as always. Suha froze. The confession landed heavily, because he didn't regret it either. And that scared him. More than rejection. More than heartbreak. Because this felt real. Jiwoon. The name came naturally now. Jiwoon immediately softened. That expression almost ruined Suha completely. "You said my name again." "There you go being weird." Jiwoon laughed quietly. Warm, genuine. For a second, Suha forgot every reason he had for protecting himself. Forgot every wall, every warning, every reason to run. Then his phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. The screen lit up. A photograph appeared. Jiwoon, leaving the hospital, with Suha beside him. Taken from far away, secretly. Below the image was a single message. "People are starting to notice." The blood drained from Suha's face. Someone had been watching them. And suddenly their biggest problem wasn't their feelings anymore. It was who knew about them, and what they planned to do with that information. The office suddenly felt too small. Suha stared at the photograph on his phone. Him, Jiwoon, leaving the hospital together, taken secretly. A chill ran down his spine. Across the desk, Jiwoon immediately noticed the change in his expression. "What happened?" Suha silently handed him the phone. Jiwoon looked at the image, then at the message beneath it. "People are starting to notice." The room became very quiet, dangerously quiet. Unlike Suha, Jiwoon didn't appear surprised. He appeared angry, and that was far more unsettling. A muscle tightened along his jaw. "Do you recognize the number?" Suha shook his head. "No." Jiwoon immediately took out his own phone, already making a call. His voice turned cold, professional, terrifying. "I need this number traced." No hesitation, no discussion, just action. Watching him, Suha realized something. Jiwoon wasn't worried about himself. He was worried about him. That realization affected him more than the message. Much more. Later that evening, They left the office separately, at Jiwoon's insistence, until we know who's watching. Suha hated admitting it, but he was right. The photograph bothered him, not because of rumors, because of how personal it felt. Someone had followed them to a hospital. Someone had watched them when they thought they were alone. The idea made his skin crawl. When Suha finally arrived home, exhaustion hit immediately. He dropped onto the couch, closed his eyes, and nearly jumped when his phone vibrated again. Unknown number. His stomach tightened. A second message. This time there was no photograph, only words. Director Park isn't who you think he is. Suha stared at the screen, then laughed. Once. Dry. Because whoever was sending these messages clearly didn't know him very well. Nobody knew Jiwoon perfectly, not even Suha. But one thing was obvious. Jiwoon wasn't playing games. Everything about him was painfully sincere. The sender clearly wanted him suspicious, wanted distance between them, which immediately made Suha distrust the message. Still, the words lingered. Director Park isn't who you think he is. Before he could think further, another notification appeared. Jiwoon, a simple text message. Did you get home safely? Suha stared at the screen, then at the anonymous warning, then back at Jiwoon's message. A small smile appeared despite everything. His reply was immediate. Yes. 3 dots appeared instantly, as if Jiwoon had been staring at his phone, waiting. Then, good. Nothing more. Nothing dramatic. Yet somehow that single word made Suha feel safer. The next morning, the company was buzzing. Rumors had spread, nothing concrete. Just whispers, looks, questions, and Suha hated every second of it. By noon, things became worse, because someone appeared at reception asking for him. A man, tall, well-dressed, handsome, and very familiar. Suha froze the moment he saw him. His ex. The one person he never wanted to see again. The person responsible for teaching him exactly why trusting people was dangerous. Across the office floor, Jiwoon noticed the change in Suha immediately. Their eyes met. Jiwoon followed his gaze, saw the man, and instantly understood something was wrong. For the first time since they met, Park Jiwoon looked jealous. And for the first time, Suha realized just how much trouble that could cause. The office suddenly felt suffocating. Lee Suha couldn't take his eyes off the man standing at reception, Kang Minjae, his ex. The person he had spent years trying to forget. The person who taught him exactly why trusting someone was dangerous. Suha, Minjae smiled. The same smile, the same voice. The same person who once promised forever before disappearing without explanation. Suha's chest tightened. Across the office floor, Park Jiwoon was already watching. Every instinct told him something was wrong. He had never seen Suha look like this. Fear, shock, pain, all at once. Do you know him? The receptionist's question broke the silence. Suha forced himself to answer. Unfortunately, Minjae laughed softly, as if nothing had happened, as if years hadn't passed, as if he hadn't shattered someone's heart. Still mean, I see. Suha folded his arms immediately, a defensive wall. I learned from experience. The smile disappeared from Minjae's face. For the first time, guilt appeared. But Suha wasn't interested. Not anymore. At least that's what he wanted to believe. Meanwhile, Jiwoon stood motionless in his office doorway, watching, listening, analyzing, and becoming increasingly irritated. He didn't like the way this man looked at Suha. He definitely didn't like how personal the conversation felt. Most of all, he hated that he knew nothing about it. A few minutes later, Suha reluctantly agreed to speak with Minjae privately, only to make him leave faster. Nothing more. At least that was the plan. They sat inside a nearby cafe. Rain tapped softly against the windows. The same weather as always. Why are you here? Suha didn't bother hiding his annoyance. Minjae looked down at his coffee. I wanted to apologize. Suha laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. 3 years late, I know. You disappeared. Silence. You blocked me. More silence. You never even explained why. Minjae finally looked up, pain visible in his eyes. My family found out about us. Suha froze. I was 21. Minjae's voice shook slightly. They threatened to cut me off completely. The confession hung heavily between them. For years, Suha had imagined dozens of reasons. None of them sounded like this. I panicked, Minjae admitted quietly, and I hurt you. Neither man spoke. Outside the cafe, rain continued falling. Inside, old wounds reopened. Back at the office, Jiwoon was having a terrible afternoon. Every few minutes, he found himself looking toward the entrance, checking the time, checking his phone, checking everything except his actual work. His assistant noticed immediately. Director Park? Jiwoon looked up. You've read the same page 6 times. The observation was unfortunately accurate. Jiwoon sighed. Rare, dangerous, annoying. He was jealous, and he hated it. Hours later, Suha finally returned. The moment he stepped into the office, Jiwoon noticed. Relief hit first, then irritation, then relief again. An extremely unpleasant combination. Their eyes met across the room, immediately, naturally, as if neither could help it anymore. Jiwoon stood. So? Suha blinked. So? How did it go? The question came too quickly, too personally, too obviously. For a moment, Suha simply stared. Then something unexpected happened. He smiled, a genuine smile. Are you jealous? Jiwoon immediately looked away, which was answer enough. Suha laughed for the first time all day, and somehow that sound made Jiwoon's terrible mood disappear completely. Almost. Then, Suha's phone vibrated. Both men froze. Unknown number. Again, a new message appeared, this time accompanied by another photograph, a picture of Suha and Minjae sitting together in the cafe. Below it were 4 simple words. History repeats itself. And suddenly, the stalker wasn't just watching anymore. They were escalating. The message changed everything. Suha stared at the photograph on his phone. Him and Minjae, inside the cafe, taken secretly, again. Below it, history repeats itself. For several seconds, neither he nor Jiwoon spoke. The office suddenly felt colder. Jiwoon quietly held out his hand. Let me see. Suha handed over the phone. The moment Jiwoon saw the image, his expression hardened. Not surprise, not concern. Anger, pure anger. They followed you. The realization settled heavily between them. Suha rubbed his forehead. Apparently, Jiwoon's jaw tightened. Whoever was behind these messages wasn't simply observing anymore. They were manipulating, creating misunderstandings, trying to interfere. And Jiwoon hated it. More importantly, the photograph itself bothered him, because someone else had spent the afternoon with Suha. Someone from Suha's past. Someone who clearly still affected him. That realization was unpleasant. Extremely unpleasant. You never told me about him. Suha looked up. There it was, the real issue, not the stalker. Minjae. Jiwoon was jealous.
The realization almost made Suha laugh.
Almost. He was my ex. Jiwoon already knew that. Yet hearing it aloud felt different. Worse. He hurt you. Not a question, a statement. Suha looked away. Yeah. Silence followed. A dangerous silence. Jiwoon stared at the photograph again, then quietly. Do you still love him? The question hit harder than expected. Suha froze. Across the desk, Jiwoon immediately regretted asking. Not because he didn't want the answer, because he wanted it too much. For several long seconds, nobody spoke. Finally, Suha laughed softly, disbelieving. You're seriously asking me that? Jiwoon didn't answer, which was answer enough. The jealousy in his eyes was impossible to miss. And strangely, it made Suha's heart race. Because for the first time, Jiwoon looked vulnerable. Not powerful, not perfect, just worried. Suha slowly stood, walked around the desk, and stopped directly in front of him. Jiwoon looked up, confused. Then Suha gently took the phone from his hand, placed it face down, removed the photograph from sight, removed Minjae from the conversation, removed the past. Then he looked directly into Jiwoon's eyes. No. The answer came immediately. Certain, honest, I don't love him. Something visibly relaxed inside Jiwoon. Only for a second, but Suha noticed. Because lately he noticed everything. Just like Jiwoon. The realization made both of them smile slightly. Then Suha added, "The person making my life difficult right now is someone else." A rare laugh escaped Jiwoon. Warm, dangerously attractive. Suha immediately regretted saying anything. Not because it wasn't true, because Jiwoon looked entirely too pleased with himself. Good. One word. Simple. Possessive. And somehow it made Suha blush, which only made Jiwoon happier. A terrible situation for everyone involved, especially Suha. Later that evening, they left the office together, ignoring the rumors, ignoring the whispers, ignoring common sense. The city was covered in rain once again. Somehow rain always appeared when things became complicated. As they walked toward the parking garage, Suha suddenly stopped. Something felt wrong. A strange feeling, like being watched again. Jiwoon noticed immediately. What is it? Suha slowly looked around. Dark parking structure. Rows of cars. Empty shadows. Nothing unusual. Yet the feeling remained. Then, movement. A figure disappeared around a concrete pillar, too fast to identify. Both men saw it. Jiwoon's expression darkened instantly. Without hesitation, he stepped slightly in front of Suha. Protective, instinctive, dangerous. Stay here. Jiwoon? Too late. Jiwoon was already moving, following the figure deeper into the garage. The shadows swallowed him almost immediately. For several terrifying seconds, Suha stood alone, heart pounding, waiting, listening. Then a loud crash echoed through the darkness, and suddenly, waiting became impossible.